Streaming 24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
A blessed evening and welcome to Love SA. I am your host tonight. Strike is my name and I'm so excited to have you joining us on Bold Moves Radio Facebook page, and Bold Moves Radio YouTube page or YouTube, and of course on Bold Moves Radio Instagram. Thank you so very much for joining us, our listeners. I trust that we're going to have a great and an awesome time tonight because I have a wonderful, wonderful show for you. Welcome to Love SA. Love SA focuses on the good news in our lives or in people's lives, in our communities, and even in our nations. Sometimes we focus so much on bad things and end up being depressed. Have you realized that we don't see the world as it is, but we see the world as we are? That is, your attitude will always determine your altitude. Africa is a continent of possibilities, a continent endowed with mineral resources, a continent with beautiful and great people, great culture, people of great generosity. And this is the Africa we have. This is the Africa we are, from Cape to Cairo. And tonight, I am so excited bringing to you Love SA, looking at the great things that our nation and the nations around us, that is South Africa and the SADC as a whole, and even the continent, the great things that we can look at and the great things that we can learn from each other and enjoy building this great continent. Tonight, I am so excited because this is exactly after the MAPUTO International Trade Fair, which happens annually in Mozambique. And that is why I have tonight great women that are going to share with us very, very life-changing information, more especially when it comes to entrepreneurship or when it comes to business, because believe you me, they are making strides. And of course, I would love to start by introducing our guest of honor tonight, because our guest of honor, beloved, she's going to take us through some of the very important things around our region, the SADC region, and opportunities across our borders. She is an economic counselor at the South African High Commissioner in Mozambique, responsible for promoting bilateral economic relations between Mozambique and South Africa. She emphasized, with emphasis on trade, that is import and export between the two countries. For 4 years, she has been assigned by the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. She has been with the DTI for 19 years now. and was responsible for promoting economic relations between South Africa and the SADC and North African countries, to mention but a few. She holds a master's degree in economic policy from Stellenbosch University and focusing specifically on economic development. And ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor tonight and the privilege of introducing to us on Love SA, none other but Miss Tinyiko Mafowane. Sister Tinyiko, blessed evening to you and welcome to Love SA. Okay, you can just unmute your mic.
Apologies. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, women of virtue. Beautiful women I met in Mozambique last week.
Wow, thank you so very much, Mama. We're so grateful to have you on Love SA tonight as our honored guest. And of course, because of these wonderful ladies that you hosted the last week on MAPUTO International Trade Fair. What a wonderful place. And before we even take off, what would you love to say to our listeners and our viewers? What can they expect? You know, I'm tempted to say more especially ladies, because when ladies are at the forefront, ladies must be empowered. What can you say to them before we even hit the ground running tonight?
Thank you very much. I think the world is ready for women-empowered companies or businesses. I was so fortunate that at the DTI, I was responsible for supporting the automotive industry. Mm-hmm. And we struggled to identify and develop female owned. We crossed over to Mozambique. Mm-hmm. I can see the room for female-owned companies in the region. Mm. I come across a number of companies and I always ask them, where are the women? You know, they said, we're looking for some more, for more women. And I encourage women-owned companies to raise their hands, you know, to say we're here, we're capable, because like you just said, women can do more, not more than men, but they can do more. I don't want to be charged for saying they can do more than men, but I believe that the world is ripe for women to take charge, to take up opportunities that are available. In Mozambique, I'm sure you know that a number of minerals, they come via the port of Maputo. If you look at the mines, who are the owners of these mines? You look at transporters, who are the owners of these tipper trucks? Who are the owners of the fuel storage facilities that feed into the tipper trucks? We do not have sufficient number of women in the space, and I'm excited that as a woman based in Mozambique, I'm there to encourage and advise women to take up these opportunities that are available, because the world is ready for women-empowered companies. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And I would love to say to all the ladies, please, and all the gentlemen, like she said, it's not about competing with each other, but it's about complementing with each other. But of course, it is very much important that women will also take the right place, because for the many years, men have been on the helm of these big economies, and there must be really, really a shift, which is very much important. And we really appreciate Ms. Tinyiko Mafowane. We really appreciate she's joining us from Mozambique. And beloved, tonight, I know we're going to have our eyes opened to get to understand and also to see the opportunities beyond our borders. We know for sure that as South Africa, we're suffering from the scourge of joblessness. And those things, they plunged us even into xenophobic tendencies, where we think our brothers from the neighboring countries or Africa as a whole are flocking to South Africa, not being aware that we are welcome in the SADC region, in Africa as a whole, and the opportunities are there. Allow me just to take this evening and also welcome a few ladies here, one of whom is Mandla Mabunda of Masana Nutrition. She has been one of the participants in the MAPUTO International Trade Fair. Good evening, Mandla Mabunda, and welcome.
Evening, Pastor Strike. Thank you for having us again on the program. It's always a pleasure. My name is Mandla Mabunda. I'm the MD of Masana Dietitians. We specialize in the manufacturing of food products that seeks to enhance our gut health, because we believe that, you know, health and illness or disease starts in the gut. So that is what we mainly focus on. So it was quite an eye-opening opportunity when we met with our sister, Tinyiko, and with my fellow entrepreneur, Ms. Nyeleti. It was quite a pleasant 10 days that we learned a lot of best practices from other countries, because it was not only MAPUTO, but it was also other, I think about 22 countries globally. So it was quite a very big international fair, and it was lovely to be part of that. So we don't only make products, but we also offer budding entrepreneurs. You just spoke about unemployment. We also offer budding entrepreneurs an opportunity to actually make their own business using our products. So we also have a package for those people. We have a passion for empowerment, especially youth and women. We give them a package of being a distributor of Masana nutrition products, and they get intensive training into basic nutrition, and they are empowered to start their own businesses and, you know, look after the welfare of their families. So that is what, in essence, we do as Masana Nutrition. And we're very happy to be in the show today.
Wow, thank you so very much. And of course, we are going to hear more about Masana Nutrition. And I would love now to introduce one great lady also, that's Miss Nyeleti Theo Maluleke of Natural Mystic Creatives. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, colleagues. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Pastor Strike. Good evening, my sisters. Sister Tinyiko. Good evening to you, Ms. Mandla, and I believe that Ms. Vivian will be joining us. My name indeed is Nyeleti Theo Maluleke. I am from South Africa, Tzaneen, Limpopo, Konkowa Township, and I am the owner of Natural Mystic Creatives, which is a handmade and design business that works mostly with young people. We train young people to produce the products that we make, and our products are sold both in South Africa and beyond the South African. Thank you so much for having me. It's truly an honor. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. And we on Heritage Month, and your creations are more of, you know, this month. And that is why today I dressed on my Ghanaian touch of a garment, even though it really makes me a true African, because when you are dark in complexion and you put on this one, then you really stand out. Thank you. Thank you so very much. And of course, we have got our sister Vivian Shiburi of VIP Cosmetics. They are also producing products, natural hair products that are taking the market by storm. And without any waste of time, I would love to take this time and give an opportunity to our guests to begin to give us a little bit of what exactly inspired them to start their businesses, and what were the challenges, the breakthroughs, and of course, zoom into the trade fair, into Mozambique, not Mozambique, but Maputo International Trade Fair. And I would love to start with you, Sis Mandla. If you could please tell us what inspired you to start this business of producing nutritious products, and also what were the challenges? Because taking off is no joke. You know, even when a flight takes off, you know, you can feel that something is happening. But tell us in brief, what were the challenges, or what inspired you to start the company? What were the challenges, and what was your point of breakthrough, so that you then zoom into the Maputo International Trade Fair and share with us the experience?
Okay, thank you so much. I think what inspired me really was to see how food really impacts our health, looking at my father who was diabetic. So as long as I could remember, my father was a diabetic, and I could see my mother injecting him every day. So I saw how she was cooking separate meals for him. So now, at that very young age, I got to see the role of nutrients of food and how it can impact on our overall health. So that actually is what gave me the inspiration. I did not know that when I went to university that there was a course that I could use to study the role of nutrition in my body. But when I got there, I really wanted to become a doctor. That was a famous thing back then. I wanted to become a doctor, but when I arrived at University of Natal, I got to learn that there is this course called dietetics. And purely it focuses on the role of nutrients and how it actually affects our health, and how we can use that to actually manage some of the common illnesses that we come across as we live. So that is what inspired me, the sickness of my dad. And then the second thing is, when I started, it was 10 years ago roughly, when I left Nestle to pursue this entrepreneurship. I cannot really tell you how it happened. I believe it was God's call because I just decided that, no, I think it's time now to go back and come produce solutions, especially for our people. I felt like the products were too expensive and, inaccessible. So I felt the need to go out and manufacture a product that could be accessible and both high nutritional quality. So when I left, obviously, I did not have any funds to start. So that was a challenge. When you want to do product development, you need to do product testing, you need to do all those things, marketing requirements, registration of a company, and all these other things that are attached to starting a business. So those were the key challenges. However, I got early on, I got the opportunity to meet with a CEDA representative somewhere doing one of their road shows. And that's how I got into the system of CEDA. And that's how I actually ended up in this trade show, to cut the long story short. So I was...
Mandla?
Yes.
Okay, so Mandla, it's like we're losing you, but...
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello, Pastor Strike, are you able to hear me? Sister Tinyiko, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it seems to me like Pastor Strike is frozen. He's actually off. Not sure if we should continue or... Okay, so I'm being told that we can just continue, so it's fine. Pastor Strike, I'm sure, will join us later. So I went through the channels of government really from as far back as 2013, and I was assigned a business advisor from CEDA, who actually grew with the company right from inception. I remember when they came to my kitchen when I was making products, actually in my kitchen. So,
Right.
so that was it. Yes.
Mandla, I'm sorry because you know there's been a little bit of a glitch, you know, with the load shedding. That's why we must talk to Sister Tinyiko. You know, we need more electricity from us.
Yes, we do.
I think we lost you a little bit. If you could just recap a little bit on the MAPUTO International Trade Fair.
Okay, so MAPUTO, what was called FACIM, the International Trade Show of MAPUTO, it's an annual show. I think this was the 57th event. And so that was a show that for us, it was a couple of us, SMMEs taken there by CEDA, which is a small enterprise development agency under the leadership of SMME department. They took us there to go and expose us to international markets to see if we can get maybe business dealings into other countries. So it was a very mind-blowing and eye-opening event, and it got us talking and got us, you know, engaging with other agents from other countries. I must say we did make good leads, and we're hoping to follow up, and Sister Tinyiko has been very, very, very helpful in that front, because she now acts as the face of us as South Africans into MAPUTO. So it's not such a daunting activity that we are undertaking, because we know we have her support. So that was what FACIM was all about. It was a 10-day event, and we got to connect with other retailers or producers or manufacturers from other countries as well.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. And on that note, you know, I'm tempted to bring Sister Tinyiko. You know, when we talk of Mozambique, to an ordinary South African, Mozambique is synonym to famine, migrant labor, war, you know, abject poverty and all that. And people do not see the business opportunities. Sister Tinyiko, what should be done to change this perspective of many of the people? You know, it's like South Africa, we view it as their Canaan. Meanwhile, to be honest, we have great opportunities and also dependence on these neighboring countries like Mozambique. We talk of electricity, for an example. And on that note, Sister Tinyiko, you could also bring in how during COVID, the Mozambique port came to our rescue as a nation. As we look at MAPUTO International Trade Fair and what Ms. Mandla is saying, how do we change the perspective that most of South Africans, I must say, because Love SA also says, hey, wake up, look around you. You are not an island, you are Africa. You know, sometimes you hear people saying, you know, people from Africa being in South Africa. No, we are in Africa. We're just in the southern part of Africa. What can we do to change the perspective, Sister Tinyiko?
Thank you very much, Pastor. I think platforms such as these can really assist, you know, assist government, assist the private sector. Because you're right. The narrative is that Mozambique is a very poor country. Mozambicans are in South Africa to destroy. Mozambicans are no good, and so forth. But when you look at the true picture, it's not the case. Mozambique is posed to be one of the, you know, leading LNG producers in the world, top 10 leading liquefied natural gas producers in the world. Mozambique, for the past 28 years, it recorded a positive GDP, gross domestic product, for 28 years. The first time it dipped to negative, it was during COVID. That was the first time. If you look at fastest growing economies in Africa, we have Mozambique there as the fastest growing in SADC. And it's quite impressive, because I'm from Mpumalanga. When we were growing up, we were taught that our nearest beach is eThekwini. But when we're in Mpumalanga, the nearest beach is MAPUTO Beach. It's 198 kilometers. When you are in Limpopo, the nearest beach is Shai Shai. If you use the Bafuri Gate to Shai Shai, it's more or less 450 kilometers. The nearest island from Mpumalanga, Gauteng, as well as Limpopo, is actually in Nyambane, which is around less than 500 kilometers. Then you cross over to Mozambique, you begin to understand that actually we have been told a lie about Mozambique. There's so much that is happening on the ground, and FACIM can give testimony to that, because we had, like my sister just said, we had 21 foreign countries exhibiting. We have 300 companies from those countries. Annually, we have more than 50,000 visitors to FACIM. So it's a very big event, which draws a number of investors, traders. You know, you go there, you are blown by what Mozambique has to offer, because the government of Mozambique is looking at how do we bring out what we can offer as a country, what we produce, you know, what we sell, what we make, and so forth. And we need to start talking positive things about our neighboring countries. I'm privileged that I'm in Mozambique. I get to see the impact that Mozambique has or is having on South Africa. If you look at exports of minerals or citrus products for that matter, right now, the coal price is at its highest. Our ports are not as efficient as they could be. That's not a secret. Transnet is trying to improve, but we are not there yet. Our saving grace is Port of Maputo. You look at how much we are exporting as a country. I mean, before COVID, we were doing roughly 25 billion worth of minerals, chrome, magnetite, coal, ferrochrome, from Palagurwa and Mpumalanga, as going as far as Northwest. If you look at citrus, as a country, South Africa, we do 160 billion worth of citrus exports annually. Now we're beginning to see a number of citrus growers looking at Maputo as a port of choice, because Maputo is growing. The country has realized that actually they can do more, and they are looking at South Africa to ask for capacity, to ask for assistance. How do we do this together? Because when you look at SADC region, we have roughly 300 million citizens, or population of 3 million, so not 100 million, yes, I'm correct, 300 million population. 105 million is between Mozambique as well as South Africa. So the two countries, we are at almost 80%, 33% of the entire market in SADC region, meaning that when we partner between ourselves, we create sufficient market for our products, we create sufficient market for our exports. China is doing great in terms of exporting to the world because they have the sufficient market. But when you look internally, intra-Africa trade, relationship between Mozambique and South Africa can bring that required market for our small companies, our medium-sized companies to start producing for the region. And I believe that we need to bring more South African. I was very excited in this current edition of FACIM. We had almost 40 from national government and 10 from provincial as well as Western Cape government. So roughly we had around 50 SMMEs exhibiting. Together with the government of Mozambique, we're looking at doubling that number in the next year's edition of FACIM. And I encourage I urge South African companies, SMMEs in the main, to engage the DTI. DTI has good programs to support exporters. DTI funds accommodation, funds market development, processes, so to say. They fund the entire service that is required for someone to go out there and look for a market. The likes of small businesses, they have a big strategy. They want to penetrate, they want to bring certain markets of certain products to Africa, and they have good programs. So we need to start engaging our governments, whether local government, provincial or national, to get to understand what services are being provided to assist exporters to penetrate the region. Until we start trading with each other, we'll always suffer external shocks. If there's a fight in Russia, we get affected. If the US coughs, we get affected. But if we have our own, if we develop our own in the region, we're able to grow as a region. We're able to develop our own region. And I'm encouraging companies to engage DTI offices in the region. We have an office here in Maputo. We have an office in Zimbabwe. We have an office in Luanda, Angola. We have an office in the DRC. We have an office in Nigeria. A number of offices in Africa. Engage those offices. Talk to the DTI in those offices to understand what can be exported into those markets. How do you go about exporting? We are there to assist. In Maputo, I know the culture of doing business in Mozambique. I have networks of local companies. I'm able to handhold someone to say, you can talk to this company, you can knock at this door and so forth. At least we're able to vet whoever you're going to do business with. Because one of the challenges is that I can't go to a foreign market if I don't know anyone there. And DTI has done a very good job in putting relevant infrastructure or structures in a number of South African missions abroad so that we can welcome and walk the path with these exporters.
Wow.
Yes, I think on the issue of energy, we don't have load shedding in Maputo. The only time we don't have, actually, Kora Masa is sending energy to Eskom. We also have a new project in Yambane where we'll be sending electricity again to South Africa. We have the Sasol gas project in Demane, sending gas to South Africa. So there are so many things that South Africa is benefiting from Mozambique. And I always correct someone when they say, but Mozambique, and I tell them, you don't understand. You don't understand. Come to Mozambique for you to understand. Spend a week in Mozambique, drive around. Mozambique is a very beautiful country, and they speak Shangan, by the way. So even Shangan, when it suits me, okay. Yes. And I'm Tinyiko, so I relate better. There's so much that Mozambique has to offer, and I'm glad that I'm here to share. And I appreciate such platforms as these ones because they allow us to share the good story, the good news about what we can do. I always say Mozambique has power to decrease our unemployment rate in South Africa. You have Mpumalanga bordering Maputo, you have KZN bordering Maputo, you have Gaza bordering Limpopo, and we have so much good projects in Mozambique in areas such as agriculture, in areas such as logistics, in areas such as manufacturing, and those provinces that are better positions because they can bring the relevant skill, partner with Mozambicans, and do business in Mozambique.
That is powerful, Sister. That's so powerful. I think this is also a wake-up call, like you say, that South Africans, we think, when we see our Mozambican brothers in South Africa, we think, they've come to do wrong, this and this and that. We're not aware that, in fact, we are beneficiaries of the Mozambique country. And if Mozambique closes its port, we will feel it. And this, I think, is because of lack of knowledge. But if I may ask, Sister Tinyiko, when it comes to our governments, I see even the government of South Africa is doing a great deal, like you say. We have the DTI offices all over. But are we doing well when it comes to communicating or when it comes to marketing these good services that we have to offer as a country?
Unfortunately, Unfortunately, we are not. For an annual trade show such as FACIM, a very big trade show in Africa, you'll expect that the province of Mpumalanga is going to market it on N4. You'll expect that the province of Limpopo in South Africa will market it on N1. You'll expect that the province of KZN will market it on N2. You'll expect that our local, radio stations or TV, social media, any other platform out there will market it. We are not doing enough. I mean, I'm not big on social media. Maybe it's an age thing. We should be out there marketing what's on the ground. And I really, really appreciate what is happening with the group which was here last week, because they're going back, they've gone back home rather, and they're speaking the good news about what they've seen, what they've experienced. Yes. Right now, it's more on, we are not there yet. And I would like us to be there, because I know the impact that Mozambique can have economically, on South Africa. We need to start engaging private sector, a whole lot more as government. I travel throughout Mozambique. Mozambique has 11 provinces. I go to Nyembane a lot. There's so much that, is happening in Mozambique. Nyembane as a province has a number of opportunities. I have a booklet of that I do not publish. I go to Nampula, I go to Det a lot, I go to Cabo Delgado. Cabo Delgado is the province where the Total LNG project is located. It's a 20 billion project. It is coming back early next year, apparently first semester of next year. There are those big projects in Mozambique where you ask yourself, how do we promote the information to the right people? And with this platform as government, because it begins to give us that platform to say, hi, South Africa, you can cross over, come to Mozambique, and there's so much that you can do. So we need to also do an introspection as a country. How do we increase our marketing strategy? How do we increase our information dissemination strategy? Because I do not have that platform as the DTI, where I publish my experiences. I go to meetings every day and I'm told, we want this service, we want this partner, we want, now you send an email to DTI and it's such a long process. I wish we could have that platform where we share, what's available on a weekly basis to say, this week we met these institutions, these are the opportunities, come to Mozambique to network and take up these opportunities.
Sister Tinyiko, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for being generous and sharing this information with us. That is why, as Love as a program, we're saying, may we please focus on the good news of our continent, the good news of our region and of our country. I've had an opportunity of traveling. I think I drove from Mozambique. I went to Mozambique, via Delspruit, and then Maputo, drive until Malawi. And what a great and awesome country it is. But sometimes people do not have an opportunity of traveling. In fact, with all the opportunities of traveling the world, I said, I'm not keen to travel any other continent until I travel my own continent, because these are my people. Like Mozambique, they speak my language. I'm Manganyi, and I have my brothers, the Manganyis, there in Mozambique. And if I travel the US, and meanwhile, I've never just went just a few kilometers away, I'm saying, South Africa, let us wake up and know that we are neighboring a great country indeed. And I would love to take this time now and talk to Mama Theo Maluleke, Mama Nyelete Theo Maluleke. Could you please tell us why you started this business? One thing that excites me with Mama Theo is that baendla vusenga vakokwana hina, they grew up babyi ambala amavokweni amilengeni, baendla vusenga byi va fashionable, and not that international flair akabzona, and I'm telling you, it's so amazing. Manuelity, how did you start? What prompted you to start this business? They even look down upon their cultural ornaments and even goodies. You know, they look down upon it and they disdain it. But you looked and zoomed, and brought so great products out of it. How did it start?
Oh, thank you so much. That is one of my favorite questions. The early seeds of my love for what I do today, I believe, were planted when I worked for one of the national parks. It was actually the Kruger National Park. I worked there as a social ecologist. And at that time, what we did was to create relations between the park and the artists just from the communities neighboring the parks. So there were shops inside the park, and there were shops at the gate. The shops at the gate normally house the products that were made in the communities. But none of the products from the communities was seen in the shops inside. You know what I mean? So it was like, we have a group of artists that are outside the park, but their products are not in the shops. So upon inquiring like what was going on, why are the products not inside the shops, inside the park, I was told that, I mean, not by one person, the understanding was that their products were not good enough, or the quality and finishing touches of the products were not good enough to be sold in the shops, you know? And unknowingly, I guess what it inspired in me was to one day have a design project or something, a platform to work with artists that will look specifically at product development, and also look specifically at products that are maybe traditionally inspired, but have a contemporary touch to it. You know what I mean? So for instance, when you go around Gianni or Limpopo and you see people wearing colorful minchekas and, you know, the colorful clothes that we wear as Shangaan people, some of those colors make sense if you are Shangaan or Tsonga, right? But it might not make sense to someone that lives in America, for instance. The American person can wear them when they are here as a way of feeling like, okay, they part of the experience in South Africa. But going back home, they might need to be colorful, but at the same time have a contemporary flair to it, you see. So Busenga is something that I have worn, I mean, like as a girl, like maybe as early as 10 years or 12 years, you know? And in my life, everywhere I went, people will always ask for Busenga. And at some point, I only just focus on making earrings and other accessories because, you know, I love fashion. But I saw that people were particularly interested in Busenga, and they will ask me like, but why are you not selling the bangles that you are wearing? You see? And so that's how it grew. I ended up, then I tried to learn the art of making Busenga. It's a highly specialized indigenous technique. You know, it's not just like a rolling of wire on a bangle. It's something that was passed down from generation to generation. So my hands apparently, or my energy was not calm enough to be able to make Busenga. So I did not get discouraged, but I then came up with a plan to actually just work with a network of rural crafters, women and men that were already making Busenga. And then I focused on product development with them. Back then when we started, we had like a variety of designs. It wasn't just the plain silver, which is a common design now, but we had brass, we had copper, we had other designs. So I just went around, looked for people that made Busenga, and then sat down with them and told them my vision, you know, like, okay, quality was the first thing that I was looking for. And quality, and then obviously capacity, because if you want to put something out there, especially if you also are putting it in platforms that would, you know, be accessed by international people, you need to make sure that you deliver. So at the end of the day, I mean, this is how it grew. So it's not just Kustenga, it's a whole lot of other earrings in particular. You can see from the colors that it still have the vibrancy of Tsonga people in particular, or just your Limpopo tribes in general. So color is certainly, you know, what to look at. But it's not just color. I mean, like, this is not just sitting down and randomly you know, putting any color. It has a strong design element, you know, and it is also inspired by, you know, what are the colors. Every time in January, I sit to look at, okay, what are the trends forecast? You know what I mean? So it's not just isolated, it's actually embedded strongly within the design sector. So yes.
Wow.
Yeah, yes. The colors are inspired largely by what I see around me, which is Tsonga people proudly wearing their vibrant Minchega colors, but it's also inspired by what is happening globally and nationally. Yes.
Beautiful. Let's talk about government's involvement, how government came to your aid. And of course, like you said, working in the you know, and looking at those artifacts that are created by our people and not gaining momentum in the market because of issues of quality, issues of this and that. But then you took the bull by its horns and then came out with these wonderful creations. How did government play a role in supporting you, more especially looking at today having been sponsored to be part of MAPUTO International Trade Fair?
Okay, all right. I guess I can confidently say and proudly say that really we have come this long way because of the support of government agencies. So coming from Limpopo, I guess SEDA Limpopo was the first government institution that I came across. Back then when I met them, the focus obviously was on just helping me put all the systems in place to run a successful business. So issues like business plans, issues like access to resources that I needed at that time, mostly non-financial support, is what one received from SEDA. And from SEDA, naturally, you then get linked with LEADER, which is the Limpopo Economic Development Agency. And the focus of LEADER really is to say, okay, now you are ready as a business to trade nationally and internationally because you've gone through the SEDA process, entrepreneurship development successfully. And so from LEADER, that's where I got exposed to the national trade fairs in South Africa. There's one in particular that just got my business to be escalated to heights that I never could imagine one could reach. And so through LEADER, I got to attend a trade show that happened in South Africa called SAGDA. And that trade show is specifically for buyers and retailers. So through that trade show, my business then got well positioned to be a supplier of the outlets instead of selling directly to people. And so that was, yes. Yeah, so that's what, so SAGDA is not the only trade show. Last year, we went to the Intra-Africa Trade Fair. Trade show, it was in Durban. And that also gave one a taste of like what, you know, the bigness that is Africa has to offer. And actually, I guess, made me aware of how I can be better positioned actually to not just supply my products in South Africa, but to actually look at other African countries as potential buyers of my products. Yes.
Wow. And let's talk about Mozambique and MAPUTO International Trade Fair. How did that trade fair position you, and what was the experience, and what are some of the things that you love to share with us around it?
Okay, it was truly a delight really to come to FACIM in Mozambique. I've always loved the country. I've visited there several times, but I guess what was different now was to actually be exposed to just the bigness of the various markets in Mozambique, particularly, I guess, the handmade sector. I've always believed that Mozambicans are very industrious people. Wherever you meet them, they're always selling something. So it was quite interesting to be in their motherland and to actually see them in action. I mean, not necessarily only in the official halls or marquees, but there was also a local market where people draw a lot of wealth from their natural resources. I mean, we saw, me and Miss Mandla actually saw a business that clearly looked like the grandmother and the uncle, the grandmother and the grandfather, and everybody in the family was out in the market. They were selling cashew nuts, they had baobab products, they had all sorts of natural resources that you can think of. They were selling something out of that. So that was a mind-blowing experience as well. I guess also from a heritage point of view, and like the business that I do, there's always been an interest to draw from natural resources to produce, like different products. So to see that alive in Mozambique, I mean, from different levels and different sectors, just wealth of indigenous knowledge of what resources they have available to them and how they're able to tap into that and run profitable businesses. That for me was just very insightful and very mind-blowing.
Wow. Thank you so very much, Mama Nyeleti. I see here Mama Grace Sibara saying Mama does awesome stuff. I met her about a month ago as she was exhibiting at Polokwane Library Gardens Museum. And some people are saying, and people thought this far-fetched, and only to find Nyeleti, she's just from Zanin. Impressive and highly innovative. Keep it up, sis. These are some of the comments of our viewers and our listeners. And I would love to say to all our listeners and viewers, this is what we as a people can do to make sure that we're not only looking for jobs, but we're creating jobs. Joblessness can be a thing of the past if we just tap into some of the things that we were naturally given. The things you see around you, like Mama Nyeleti, she says, I grew up in Mbalabusenga. I loved Luvsa, and now look at what is happening. She has opened international markets out of something that she loves the most. And I would love to say to my viewers, thank you so very much for being with us. And of course, my listeners, but I also urge you to learn and to be inspired and to be provoked to good works. As we say, love SA, the Nehemiah phenomenon. What is it that you can do to better your country? And now, what can we do to better our region? And I would love to take this time now and say and I'll come with the parting shots, may I say to Mandla and also to Mama Nyeleti that I would love to, for you guys to tell us, to give us even your numbers. On this platform, you are free to market yourself because this is Love SA, to tell where people can get you. But at the very same time, to tell us the key into production. One thing that is very much important is for us to be able to produce something, and that will put us at the helm of the economy. When you're able to produce something, produce a product or a service of some kind. And right now, I would love to go back to my sister Tinyiko. My sister Tinyiko, she has been very, very much busy. She has been with the DTI for 19 years and being responsible for promoting economic relations between South Africa and the SADC and North African countries. Sister Tinyiko, I just want to hear from you, your experience, because like I said, it was 2008 when some of our Mozambican brothers were attacked seriously and killed, and I remember hosting a culture day, and the theme was Africa Unite and Zero Tolerance to Xenophobia, and the High Commissioner of Mozambique graced that occasion right here in Limpopo, and where we were saying, hey, we cannot become this wicked. But this, I believe, is due to lack of knowledge of Africa as a continent, knowledge of the region as SADC, knowledge of the wealth that is in our different countries, and also the beauty and the warmth and the generosity of Africans. We do not know, and as South Africa, because of apartheid, maybe we've been more of an island. We feel if one of my brothers come from Zimbabwe, comes from Mozambique, comes from Botswana, they are coming to steal from me. And having been involved in the SADC, Tinyiko, and in North African countries, what is your experience, and what can you share with us to open our minds and our understanding about Africa as a continent and South Africa as part of this continent?
Thank you very much, Pastor. I hope I had you correctly. The line was quite bad,
okay,
but I'll try to answer. If I miss, I would be allowed to stop me before I go any further.
no problem.
Previously, I was responsible for supporting or promoting rather economic relations between South Africa and SADC countries, all other 13 countries. Later on, I was promoted to look at South Africa and Northern African countries. And I can safely say that there is so much that we can do as South Africa in Africa, or in the rest of Africa rather. When you look at our ports, I'll always look to our ports because they're strategic assets for us as a country. And if managed and used properly, they have power to bring development. Because countries are landlocked, they're limited, So if you have a port, you are able to access all other countries in Africa. And what I have learned is that as South Africa are self-absorbed as a country, we don't know what's happening out there. We cry about, xenophobia, we cry about lack of opportunities, and so many things. And we say, foreigners are taking our opportunities. But when you come to Mozambique, we have 600 commercial farmers in Mozambique, South Africa. In Nyembane, we have almost 200 B&Bs, stroke hotels, guest lodges owned by South African companies. So we have so much that is happening. And the story which is being told out there, it is not correct. I have traveled Africa. Wherever I've been, there is a South African company. There is a South African business community. But we are not saying much. We are not sharing, this information with the correct audience, because those that are in the know are not discussing it in the right platform. And I know that Africa has power to feed 60% of the world's population. Actually, 60% of arable land is in Africa. In Mozambique, just if I can touch on, in Mozambique, land is owned by the state. So it's quite easy to engage local government to say, I want 10,000 hectares of land to farm. On a very same token, again, Mozambique is receiving funding from the annually on supporting farmers. They are receiving money from the IMF as well on farming. In Mozambique, have roughly 900,000 to help them farm commercially. And it's only when you travel into these places that you begin to understand that actually we are not growing as fast as we could as South African businesses because we're not exposed. And lack of exposure is due to lack of sufficient information or the right information. And if you look at our region as SADC, we are trying to promote intra-Africa trade as African countries. The DBSA, together with IDC, they are funding a study to look at the gas value chain in the region. We need to start engaging to say what is coming out of the studies. The DTI has sufficient database of information about what's available in the region. We need to start actually engaging more to say our country has saturated, or our country cannot cope due to lack of a better way. What can we do in the region? And there's so much that we can do. As I've said, 900,000 farmers are looking for partners to capacitate them. And those commercial farmers are in South Africa. Let us try to go out, of our comfort zones. Let us engage our sisters. Like I said previously, if you are from Limpopo, who stops you from using Bafuri Gate to go to Gaza and start engaging locals there to say, what can we do jointly? Whether it's crafts, whether it's manufacturing, because Mozambique imports 99% of whatever it consumes comes from outside. Only 20% of that comes from South Africa. That comes from China, India, and so forth. We can do import substitution as South Africa to say, what is it that we are bringing from China? How do we make it viable to produce locally? And the DTI, again, has good support programs to fund such, manufacturing activities. Mozambique itself is geared towards promoting industrialization because they are aware. Why are we importing when we can allow South African companies to look to localize whatever that we want to produce? It's only, it's only when you start coming to such trade shows as FACIM, where you engage people, you get to know what's happening, encourage and urge companies to go to Mozambique. I'm not because I'm the economic counselor. I'm saying this because I know the partnership between the two countries bring development. And I know that, Mozambique has so much that not only Mozambique, but also when you petroleum products in South Africa, then we track it all the way to the DRC. Why can't we import into Mozambique? Because we have a port and export to neighboring countries. Mozambique borders 6-7 SADC countries. You can import into Mozambique to Beira, ship it straight to DRC, ship it straight to Malawi, Zambia, and so forth. We can also penetrate the logistics industry because Mozambique is central in such a way that if you are based in Mozambique, you are able to penetrate all the other countries that are within the region.
Wow, Sister Tinyiko, that's awesome. Thank you so very much. And like I said on my introduction, that we are going to receive a lot. And I would love to take this time and let the recording of one of our sisters, that is Sis Vivian, to share something also, because I realized that she also produces products that are very needed, very much
everyone.
Needed, very much needed, most especially, when it comes to our beauty, and our African, our African beauty, of course, and that is our hair. And let's just take this time and hear what Sissy Vivian has to say to us.
Hi, everyone. I would like to say thank you to Bold Moves for the opportunity. I'm Vivian Shibori from VIP Cosmetics Laboratories in South Africa. VIP Cosmetics Laboratories was actually based in 2005. When we started, I actually started the company. What is VIP Cosmetics Laboratories? we develop and manufacture innovative natural hair products. VIP Cosmetics Laboratory started in 2005. My background is I'm an analytical chemist and a cosmetic scientist to start with. And then the reason why we started, or I started the business, I already had something like 8 years in the industry of manufacturing haircare products. But initially, wherever I was working, we were manufacturing Caucasian hair products. And then I decided to start a business manufacturing ethnic haircare products. And the reason was another one, it's because I was tired of my relaxed hair and I needed a change. The hairstyle that was trending, or the natural hairstyle that was trending, then it was dreadlocks. So I started with the dreadlocks product. When I started, I first visited the salons which they specialize in dreadlocks, and then I did a research trying to find out actually what are the challenges people are experiencing, and especially also the hairstyling. What were the challenge? What were their challenges with their dreadlocks and everything? And then I found that the challenge was the dry, itchy scalp, and also they were not happy with how the locks were looking. They were looking a little bit sort of, they are dirty due to the buildup, and then they were also suffering from dandruff. The liquid cream and follow up with an oil, which is something like a 3-step process. And there's also other process, which is pre-pooing and whatsoever. So actually, it turned out that the processes that we are doing in trying to maintain or keep our Afro hair soft and healthy and breakage free, it was like, it's too much. People are experiencing those problems that it's time consuming, and it also ends up expensive, because now you have to keep on trying out new products all the time because of people being disappointed of whatever product that they are using currently, and when we tell them about that. And yes, whoever has used our product, they are excited. They are excited, like they never thought that they can find anything like this or something that compares to this product. And then the breakthrough is the fact that now we have listed our product with Clicks, and we are available on most of the salons nationally in South Africa. Yeah, as VIP Cosmetics, we were one of the fortunate one. We were who applied and were selected to go to the FACIM in Maputo. So that's at which we are the FACIM in Maputo. That's a trade fair that it's an annual trade fair organized in Maputo, and yeah, our SA government helped us to actually introduce ourselves, or the company or the product there in Maputo. And then, yeah, the experience was very overwhelming, because people in Maputo experienced that what we experienced, or yeah, what we discovered is we realized that a lot of people are suffering from kashpa. And that was easier for us because we know that already we have all our products. We have most of our products, they specialize in kashpa dandruff, also in other stores in, or the market, like in Market Janet and the market in Shipamani, like few markets that they will be getting the products from. Yeah, and we are also grateful for that opportunity, because now at least we will be able to be in Maputo, which we have longed and wished to work hand in hand with them.
Wow, that is it. And that is VIP Cosmetics. And ladies and gentlemen, it's about 12 minutes after the hour 8. And allow me to extend a little bit so that we are able to wrap up accordingly. Give me at least 15 more minutes. You know, it's very much important, like Sister Tinyiko said, that platforms like this gives us an opportunity to market the programs that government is embarking on, which are very, very much important and which creates opportunities for us to be able to fend for ourselves, and not only for ourselves, but create jobs. I can tell you, Manuelity will not do that alone. Neither can Sis Vivian do that alone. And Sis Manda already said she is not alone, you know. So it creates jobs and people are able to earn a living out of that. And I would love now to wrap up by first talking to Sis Mandla Mabunda and hear from her what it takes for us to get into producing. You know, it's another thing to buy and sell, but it's another thing to really bring out a particular product, you know. And I love to appreciate our government in supporting and in encouraging. When Manuelity spoke, she showed us how they will take you through processes, even on working on the business plan, so that it is not just a mirage, it's not just a dream that is intangible, but is something that can really be looked at professionally, which is very much important. Sis Mandla, if you could, with your parting shots, tell us what it takes for one to come up with a product, and what you would love to encourage your fellow entrepreneurs or your fellow business ladies as we celebrate the achievement, and we celebrate also the Maputo International Trade Fair. And having known it, I'm there next year. I'm making sure that I'm there. Bold Moves Radio must be there, because this is what we must cover. This is what we must talk about. And I see that Sis Mandla, are you there? Or should I start with Manuelity? Manuelity, if you could please tell us what it takes. Kuba munhu ati sungulela swilo ahansi. Minga itsundusha yini. It's not a walk in the park, but what can you advise us? Looks like takuti sungulela a product like these products that you have.
I think first thing is critical. It's passion.
Yes.
What we do is really a work of passion. I have other hats that I wear. I mean, professionally, my background is so different from what I'm doing today. But if I tell you, I love the creative work to a point that even if I'm in platforms where I'm employed as a development practitioner, I drag the arts with me and I've always advocated for it as a viable platform, a viable strategy for skills development and youth empowerment or women empowerment. So I believe that when you love what you do, you become it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what platform you are occupying. So that passion and the commitment to see it become successful, so that other people that are dependent on the business can also become successful, is what drives you, even when things are not necessarily easy. Yes, indeed, it's not a walk in the park. I mean, when I say that today Wusenga, we supply even to clients in Germany or America, it didn't happen. I was telling someone it didn't take 5 years. You know, it took more than 10 years, you know, for that to happen. So when passion is truly there and commitment is there, the challenges and the stumbling blocks become minor. They become bearable, you know, because it's not it's who you are. I mean, even Sister Tinyiko remembers me as a creative person, as someone who have always loved accessories, as someone who was like always expressive culturally and otherwise, you know. So passion really is what it takes for something to become a success, and a success that doesn't always don't only influence you or benefit you, but benefit the people that are around you.
Thank you so very much, Manyeleti. That's very true. In fact, somebody said, if you do something just for money, you know what? You may get money, but the end of the day, you are a frustrated person. But when you do something because you are passionate about it, guess what? You will get money, but you'll get also fulfillment. Great. That's powerful. Sis Mandla, your parting shots tonight, looking at what it takes to produce something. You know, you are a dietitian. You could have taken a job, work, and have security, but you chose to walk this path that is, you know, according to the Bible, it's a narrow path and it's a narrow gate. You chose the narrow path, the narrow gate. What can you say to us, and what can you encourage us when it comes to producing something?
Oh, thank you, Pastor Strike. We just had an issue with load shedding, so now I'm on my phone, but it's okay. We move on. So I will have to agree with my friend Nyeleti. You know, passion. Passion is the one thing that will carry you even during those times when you feel like quitting, because you do come across times where you feel like, you know what, let me just go back to the hospital and just do what I studied for, and you know, but you need to have passion, because passion then reminds you why did you start this thing, and it's a burning desire that you tend to have. I find that when I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, they talk about this burning desire in them. You can't really put it into words, but you know it's there, and that's that thing that keeps you going on and on and on. And then as far as production is concerned, you need, I think, first and foremost, you need to research your sector. If you want to go into food manufacturing space, for example, there's a lot of legalities that are around. So for you to avoid a lot of frustrations and waste a lot of money, I think the best thing is to just inquire, do a proper research on the sector that you want to become part of. In that way, when you start venturing in there, you are prepared, and you also know which bodies to actually look at. For example, you need to be affiliated with your SABS, for example. You need to be affiliated with your CSIRs, so the Department of Agriculture, you know, agro processing. Even within the DTIs, there are units that solely deal with agro processing and manufacturing. So you need to do a bit of research, and you listen out and you attend seminars. So it's a lot of spade work that I would say people who want to venture into any sort of industry, they need to do before they go ahead. And then I would also say, before you leave your 9 to 5, really don't live based on passion alone, because there are times where you really need to feed your family, and that is also a point of, you know, frustration when you don't have. So first, it's either you save up, or maybe you already 1 foot in the game, you already have something that you're doing before you leave your formal 9 to 5. In that way, it lessens the amount of pressure on yourself to actually now make it big time, because there is no such thing as making it overnight. As you can remember, when I started, Pastor Joylene will tell you, it was 10 years ago when I first started with a product called Masana in storage. You remember that? It had to take that much long for us to get where we are, when we can even trade internationally and trade with other SADC countries. So it does not happen overnight, and it's a lot of blood, sweat, and a lot of prayers. So you have to have a very big support system as well. You need to have a lot of support system, family, colleagues, even other entrepreneurs that you will need to like boost each other and inspire each other when the tough gets going. But otherwise, as far as Masana Nutrition is concerned, our products are available online on masananutrition.co.za. We also have a list of distributors that are available to help you in the different provinces. In Polokwane, for example, we do have Pastor Joylene. I see a lot of people who are joining online on Facebook are people that I'm familiar with, so they know already where to get the product. So, but otherwise, people can always call me on 073-563-7929. I'll be glad to assist them. And those that want to become part of our entrepreneurs or distributors, they can also get hold of me, even via WhatsApp. We can have a chat and we can take it from there. But it's a beautiful business to feel like you're impacting on the nation, on the health of the people. It's very rewarding. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. And on that note, you're reminding me that Mama Nyeleti, you did not give us your contacts and where to get your product. If you could please do that.
Okay, thank you. Yes, my main way of being in touch and being contacted is via WhatsApp. My number is 07688909926. We are also on social media. On Instagram, it's Natural Mystic Accessories, and on Facebook is Natural Mystic Accessories as well. But on WhatsApp, that's the best and quickest way to get hold of me, especially now. It's September, it's Heritage Month. We have a lot of products to match your outfits, whether they're more traditional or they're contemporary. Our products will go with any outfit that you would choose for celebrating Heritage Month and beyond Heritage Month. So thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Mama Nyeleti. And ladies and gentlemen, what an honor. And I would love to take this time now and allow our guest of honor, that's Ms. Tinyiko, our economic counselor, and allow her to see whatever she would love to say. Sister Tinyiko Mafowane, we would love to hear from you now. As our honored guest, we just want to take this time and appreciate you for taking time. We have taken even 30 minutes of your time now, extra 30 minutes, and we know it's hectic, you're busy, you came driving, rushing to be on this show, but we cannot appreciate you enough. And I must say, may your door remain open, because we would love to engage with you. We realize you've got wealth of information when it comes to the SADC, when it comes to the continent, more especially on economic development issues, and would really love to engage you, and would also love to engage you on some of our shows where we talk specifically to women so that we are empowering each other. So, Sister Tinyiko, the floor is yours. Tell us whatever you'd love to tell us before we let you go tonight. Yes.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Thank you very much and for inviting me. It was, for me, I felt like I had so much to share, and I hope that I have done that. I know that I can't do it in one day, but I appreciate that it provides us a platform to start engaging with the right audience. My thought is that engage the DTI. DTI annually organizes or participates rather in 33 international pavilions where companies are funded to participate in those various multi-sectoral pavilions, whether it's footwear, it's engineering, automotives, agro-processing, cosmetics, you name it. Engage the DTI to understand where are opportunities in the continent or abroad. Engage the local LED offices, local economic development offices in various municipalities. I like what Sismas from Masana said, that you need to attend things, need to attend trade shows, attend government seminars, participate in government, programs, so you can understand what is happening. Since I came to Mozambique, what I read about South Africa is very negative. The killings, the low morale, unemployment, and I'm not disputing that those things are not happening. I read that actually the picture that is being painted is not accurate. It might be accurate, but it's not correct, because there are other good things that are happening in South Africa. And I'll ask us to start talking about those things more, have such platforms where we talk about Mozambique, we talk about DRC, we talk about Zimbabwe, we talk about Swaziland, we talk about Lesotho. We talk about what can we do to assist our youth. Mozambique has the project. It's a big, investment, the biggest in Africa that, we have seen as a continent in the past 2 decades. Mozambique is going to need artisans, it's going to need engineers, it's going to need food. Where those things come from? In Mozambique, but the capacity is not such that they can cater. They're going to look east or the west. Look from where can we get? So it's look west to say, South Africa, are you able to take up these opportunities? We promote JVs as the high, because we are mindful that it's difficult for someone to come and penetrate the market without, and we assist in doing due diligence on the local Mozambican companies to say, we give this company a go-ahead. FACIM is a very important instrument for us to promote trade, not only for trading in Mozambique, but also penetrating the region. If you look at who attends FACIM, all provinces of Mozambique are represented. They have stands. So you're able to engage a province of Cabo Delgado. They'll take you through what they have to offer. You're able to engage Malawi Investment Promotion Agency. They're able to take you through what they have to offer. So I'm saying next year, if we could, all of us, let's bus into Mozambique, let's attend FACIM, let's start to create networks, engage the right people, share opportunities, talk to people on the ground so we can understand and we can stop the hate. As South Africa, we hate threats towards our fellow brothers because we believe they don't have to come from, they're here to take. And it's not necessarily the case. Mozambicans have never been to South Africa. And I asked them, but I thought one wants to go to South Africa. They said, no, for what? We have our own business, very great, And it's because we are told Mozambicans are A, B, C, D, which is very negative what we're told. But when you come to Mozambique, realize that there's a lot. So I'm saying I'm available to assist with information. I'm on the ground. I engage the National Investment Agency of Mozambique on a regular basis. I'm able to engage the provincial agencies of Mozambique responsible for promoting trade and investment. We have a wealth of knowledge in terms of where are opportunities in Mozambique. Unfortunately, I cannot list them in a platform such as this, but maybe one, I don't know, I can share through a link what is available as and when it becomes available, so that we can start to, we can create the necessary hype about the region. For us as government, it's about intra-African trade, because we realize that until we start trading with each other, we'll always suffer external shocks. We'll always be at the back foot until Mozambique stops buying chicken from Brazil and buy locally in Mozambique from a company jointly owned by a South African and a Mozambican, because the Mozambique has the market, the South African has the know-how, that local market. Until, we do agro-processing in Mozambique, because Mozambique has the funds. As government of Mozambique, there is funding available. There's land available. There is the right soil condition available. They just need capacity. And South Africa have that capacity. We're a very advanced country. You know, our infrastructure is so advanced that we're able to share through partnerships with neighboring countries to better both economies or the region as a whole. I mean, you should know that between South Africa and Mozambique, we have a very strong force. So if we can join hands and work together, we can reduce employment in South Africa. And coming to women, I'm passionate about women empowerment. I was fortunate that I spent more than 12 years in the DTI. I spent 19 years, but 12 years, I was responsible for supporting the automotive industry. In my was to formation. And I really worked well in conveying that, saying what can be done, what's available. And I've extended the very same attitude in Mozambique. I'm saying that big companies or white-owned companies are not assets, but I'm saying that in terms of prioritizing, excuse me, in terms of prioritizing our resources, female-owned companies are our priority. We understand the hardships that they face, challenges in terms of penetrating market. And I'm here to assist. My contact details are as follows. My email address is T for Tinyiko, Mafowane, my last name, at the DTI. So Mafowane at the dic.gov.za. My Mozambican number is +258 843 My South African number is 082426. Companies interested in investigating information on what's available, I can share company country profiles. I can share in opportunities, you know, from the respective provinces of Mozambique. I can share events. We have a Malawi trade fair happening towards the end of this month in Tet. Those are things that we need to share with South African companies. You know, we have a trade fair in Ghana, we have a trade fair in Angola, we have a trade fair in Zambia. We have funding for those trade fairs. Those are things that I would like to share with the South African business community at large, because it's only through access to information that we can make, you know, the right decision. We can start, you know, doing businesses. We can start penetrating the African continent, and we can start reducing unemployment in South Africa, and we can start developing our own continent as Africa. Thank you very much for hearing.
Yeah, Sister Tinyiko, thank you so very much. And my God, you know, it's in just 1 hour, 30 minutes, but the information that has been shared here is mind-blowing. It makes one feel we are safe. It makes one feel the exaggeration of joblessness, you know, of poverty and all that. It's really not it. There is a lot of wealth. There is a lot of opportunities. All it takes, like Sister Tinyiko says, let's go to the DTI, let's go to our leader, let's go to all these government agencies, and let's get information. And she gave us contacts, and if you did not get them, well, please, you are free to contact us. But I must say also, as Bold Moves Radio, we are here to make sure that we take you through, or we connect you with people that have got information that will turn your life around, turn your community, even your nation around. That is why we say we boldly break barriers and limitations to raise the flag of hope for an African child. With these words, I would love to say to Sister Tinyiko, thank you so very much, and your team of FACIM, you know, your FACIM team that you came with tonight. We really appreciate it. We know that we have been inspired, we've been provoked, and we are going to think beyond just our country and know that our neighboring countries, you know, they are there to empower us. And we have something to offer, and they have got something to offer. Thank you so, so very much. And a blessed evening to you and to all our guests. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Streaming 24/7. 24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Africa, nakupenda sana. Oh, Africa.